Okay, so as you can see, I've got my angled pieces here, and I kind of continue this down. Now, rotating this particular piece here, yeah, that was a little fun, but eventually I got through it, and so you can see we've got both sides set up as far as kind of the platform coming down. So we'll get, a ramp in here or something. I suppose we could actually do that now. I do have you can see in the number 7 slot I've got the angled piece, but I think there's actually, yeah, there's this ramp, and I don't know, maybe we should use some kind of, maybe they don't have steps. They just have the slope. See, I think the ramp is like 2 blocks long, and that's a little too long. Of course, we could use it in some places. For example, right here, it's not that big a deal that it's too long. We have the room for it. And it may be that it's actually, let's see, yeah, maybe it's actually not a big deal at all. We have room for all of that. Now, I think what we'll do is we'll take that out and do here. So we've got kind of one long run up into the ship there, or up into the kind of up to the bridge, I guess you'd say. So let's go ahead and run this up here. Yeah, it seems to work pretty good, and then we would fall in there. That's okay. Let's see here. Just throw a block in there and we're all set. So yeah, we've got this thing coming along pretty well. Now this shape here that comes up and back, I really kind of dig that. I'm kind of thinking about leaving the cockpit area pretty open. So I might do that with the arm there, and I might do another one that kind of comes up and goes back. I'm not really sure, but we'll get to that in a little bit. What I do want to do is make sure that the area here that I kind of, once you come out of the cockpit and start walking towards the back, I do want this enclosed. So we're going to end up putting some walls along this thing here in the back. If I go ahead and do something like this, and I'm not really sure if I'm going to just stick to these blocks right here, but for now we are going to put them in. Something along those lines. And you only need one block in height in order to fit your character. We know that, so it doesn't have to be that large. We'd probably need that here. So something like this. And since we don't have to worry about oxygen, we can leave things kind of open in some areas as well to act as windows. They have some pieces that can act as windows here. They have a vertical window. Their idea of a window is basically these grates, and I don't know. We'll see how that looks. I may put that in there, but anyway, for now, that's cool. So I'm trying to think of what I can kind of close over these areas. So for example, if I break this shape out, spin it around, something like that. So if I do something like that, we want to know that we're not going to be bumping our heads into these as we run down. But I think that's probably okay. And it might even be okay up here as well if we take this out. Something like that. So that's kind of what that's looking like. Get that little angle down. It's got these little pieces that stick out. I'm not really sure what that's all about, but anyway, that's cool. Let's go ahead and actually jump in here. So we come out of the cockpit here, we spin around, and this would head us down into the ship. And yeah, it looks like we have enough clearance. We didn't smack our head, it didn't hang us up there or anything, and that was kind of my concern. I don't think I'll be able to block this off. No, we'd run into that. So let's see, we've got, I just tried to double tap to jump and jump and float. I guess that wouldn't be a bad shortcut, right? Okay, so anyway, what I want to do here in this area that you come down into is I do want a taller area to work in. It doesn't have to be that much taller, so, whoops, I didn't mean to tear that out. So what we're going to do is take this piece, let's see, spin that around, and go to the block. So this here would be 2 block tall space, which I think is okay, but I do want it maybe one more taller. So I think for now we're gonna drag out this first area I know that probably doesn't make sense. First area, what are you talking about? The idea being that if this is the wall, then this area underneath it is kind of the, I guess, the first open space. And so I think when you're standing under that, it can be 2 high. But then above that, it can actually be 3 high. Something like that. And I'm going to clean this up with kind of edges and everything. But this will kind of give you an idea. So you would come down here and you'd have this wall. And the ceiling would be just 2 blocks above you, but out in the middle it would be 3. And it could even be 4 out here in the middle or so, but I don't know. 3 might be enough. I really kind of want to keep the profile of this ship pretty low too. I wanted the cockpit to be, or the bridge anyway, to be a little bit taller than the rest of the ship. And it looks like the bridge is going to be maybe another block or 2 taller. So we definitely have room to do what I would like to do. So I think in the meantime, what we'll do is we're going to take out these pieces here. I don't need to move the ship anywhere for now. So let's clear this out. Not that space though. And we'll leave the booster or these thrusters where they're at, because I do know that I want to keep those there. So let's go ahead and drag out what are going to be the walls to this thing. Let me think about that a second. I'm kind of thinking about I could do these as the walls instead. Or rotate this around. I always rotate it the wrong way. Something like that. So I could do that as the wall, for example. Then I've got more room. Well, it does need to be connected, Weem. That was dumb. So I will have to have that connected to kind of a piece up here. Well, we could still do that though. Not if I do that though. I keep right clicking when I mean to left click. So here to here. We can then go to a block like this. I guess that'll have to be connected though. That'll have to be connected as well. I could have some corner pieces to do this. Let's take a peek at this. So essentially, if I take this piece, and of course I rotated it the wrong way once again, something like this. Okay. 7. Rotate this. Not the correct way. But I get all turned around with this thing. So anyway, I don't know. We'll have to play with this. Obviously, I need to get that rotated the right way, but I'm not sure because those pieces won't stay connected when the point just connects to the floor, as you can see it do right there. So anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to play around with this a little bit more. I may change the way that's working, but I'll get these walls started and we'll be right back. Okay, so I kind of worked out the entryway there. I've got both sides symmetrical and everything, so I don't have all of the angled pieces out here that I want, so it's a little bit blockier than I want it right now, but I think that's okay. I would rather mess around with the blocks initially to get my framework in and then work on all the angled, kind of make it look cool stuff later, including coloring this thing. But yeah, I think it's coming together pretty nicely. I'm almost thinking about extending these out the back farther, so we've got a little bit more room back here, and it doesn't look like it just kind of comes to this stubby end. So I think we'll go ahead and do that actually right now. I'm going to extend these out. Looks like I extended them 6. So we'll do that. And I'll have to delete the thrusters that are here. Get rid of those guys. And I killed the wrong block here. I tend to do a lot of that, it seems. Okay, now I've got something weird going on. This happened to me before, actually, just a little bit ago. It won't let me place a block here for some reason. Yeah, it's weird. It gets this space thing. I think It might be because when I separated these, actually, you know what? That's probably it. When I broke this piece, this is now floating in, like, off on its own, and the spacing is probably just not right. So, you know, that's probably what happened before. I was wondering, like, what the heck? I just took it out. But I think that was probably the problem. Yeah, sure, Weem. So anyway, let's see. We're gonna go ahead and bring this up too, and something like that. I think that's gonna work, and I've got kind of a cool idea for these. I was gonna do 3 tall, one thruster here, one above it, one below it, but I think I want to do a whole bar of these up and make these almost like blades in the back. So anyway, I'm gonna have to think about that a bit. I suppose I could just do something like this. I went 5 up there, and then I could drop down and do that on the underside as well. 5, and then I could run thrusters all along this thing. I mean, while we're here, we might as well. Let's see here. Yeah, there we go. 11 of these suckers. Yeah, that's kind of cool looking. I like that. Interesting. Okay, let's back out of this. Yeah, and I even like these arms sticking out here still. And I may even do like some more of those. I could even do them, you know, perhaps not as long. Something like, we got 7 there. Although, I don't know that I want them to go all the way like that. All the way to the top. Maybe start them down a little bit lower and go maybe 6 out from there. And I can dress these up and make these look a little bit cooler too, but I kind of like that idea. It almost looks like these massive cannons pointing off the back. And they're not, but it does make it look kind of cool. And 2 spaces there. Trying to think, if I did an angled piece here and then an angled piece here, they would touch. And I don't know if I want to... If I end up doing that, well, I'll have to think about that. Maybe I'll do angled only on one of these. Maybe I'll do angled pieces along here, kind of pointing up, and then leave these squares coming out. But anyway, yeah, I think that's kind of cool. And then of course we could go and do them down there, but I'll get to that a little later. Yeah, I actually like that quite a bit. You could even do a cross pattern and run them out left and right as well. But I think I like that. I think we're gonna leave that as is. Let's go ahead and focus back. Let's get back to the job at hand, Weem. We're gonna try and fill out the rest of this space here, and the engine room essentially. Let's see. Pretty sure it was 5, but I know it was just 1 beyond. Yeah, something like that. So this kind of defines our space back here. It's a little bit more than I imagined I would use. But I think that's okay. And I want to get a little bit off with this back here. Something like that. So this is essentially our floor plan here. We've got this flat area to work with. So anyway, I'll end up putting the thrusters all together, the power, the gyroscope. I think that's what it is. We'll put all of that stuff together and into one area, yeah, gyroscope, and just make it look like a big engine. And it's probably, I'm going to set this up to take up most of this area, so that when you actually walk back here, you kind of have to go left or right around it, and you may not even be able to walk all the way around it. I could even leave this back area exposed, showing the back part of it, and just add more thrusters facing out the back. That could be kind of cool. So yeah, I guess we could get started on that. And once I know the engine, then I can kind of build around it, right? So the other thing too is I can have my gravity back and walk around on the ship. So let's go ahead and do that. We'll go ahead and start with the rear-facing thrusters that we'll use for the engine. Something like that, perhaps. Let's see. Now, I'm kind of thinking that the engine would come out the bottom as well. I'm imagining it almost like a sphere, And if I build from here, it's going to be kind of a dome, unless I build the whole sphere up in here. But I want it to stick partway through the floor, I think. So let's go ahead and remove some of this area, like so. And remove this as well. I'm just going to take this back part of the ship out entirely. And we'll back up and look at this. Okay. So yeah, I actually think this is going to work pretty well. We'll go ahead and put this thruster here, and that kind of defines the center of the engine as here, but into the ship a bit. I think that works out pretty well. So let's see, in order to do that, let's take this guy here and do some rotating. Actually, that's probably fine. I think we need to interact with that. There's like a pad or something. Let's see, let's get this in closer here. Yeah, okay, so that's the pad. Although the engine, we're going to have multiple of these in here, so let's just go ahead and run a row of these. Like this. I think 3 is good to start with, at least there. And then we'll do, we'll kind of do them in a T, right? So here, and then we'll go over to this side, but we want that panel facing out, like so. Haha, I rotated it correctly. So that's essentially the power right there. So that is set. Let's go ahead and get the gyroscope in here. Let me think about where we're going to do this. I think I want to just kind of connect these here. I don't know if I can do this on top of the other one though. I can. Does it look goofy? Actually, I couldn't, could I? No. Let's get the block back out here. I think we're just going to set them, you know, right here on the ship. Let's see. And actually that looks cool. And that leaves, we got the kind of panel we can connect with there. Now the next part we're going to do is thrusters. We're going to do the thrusters that we haven't done yet. And I like doing the downward facing ones out here. Something like this. Although it could be one more down. I think that's okay. Cool, so that's the down. Now, we've already got the down, but I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to have more of those. Because again, we're overdoing it a bit so that we can have kind of a cool looking engine room. So we're going to do 2 facing up here. And then we're going to do facing down. The only problem is I can't just build onto that. I'm gonna have to actually attach this to a to like the roof. And in fact, if I do it one block up, for example, here, go to this guy, like that, and leave a space between, that actually seems kind of cool. So maybe that's what we'll do. We've got the space. I intended on bringing this up to this point anyway. So there we go, something like that. So that's, you kind of get an idea for what I was going for. These are thrusters, but in the engine, if this is the engine room, you know, you may not think of this as thrusters. You're going to think of it as something else, something cool looking. So those are going. Now we do need some facing in the other directions as well. And we may end up, let's see, 1, 2, how's that going to fit here? How are we going to fit this? Let's take this. So if I do one of these here, let's see, how much floor space do we have? Not a lot. I could do one there. Problem is then if I put one here turned around facing it, then we're blocking off the access to the power. Now nothing says I can't put power somewhere else though, I suppose. Okay. Let's kind of consider that. So thinking something along these lines. I could put these together. Yeah, let's just do that. That's fine. The ones facing down and up towards each other aren't. They've got the gap between them, but I don't really need that all the way around. Let's try to get spun around here. Okay, something like that. I think that's cool. Now we don't have left to right. We don't have those yet, so that's going to be something we want to do. And of course we can achieve that the same way we did this other stuff. Let's see. If I do these here, we've got kind of an uneven thing going on here, so I can't really make these touch each other and be centered, so I'm going to have a gap between. The question is, do I want to do that right here or not? Kind of on top of this. Just not so sure. Let's just go ahead and do it for now, and we'll take a look at it.